A reporter has been suspended because their tweets about the Syrian refugee bill that was recently passed aren't sufficiently objective. Now, understand, you're not going to hear nearly enough about the laws that are being proposed to stop the Syrian refugees from coming in, some of the statements from politicians, from members of the media against Syrian refugees. And so we're seeing one of perhaps the few little one toe in the water attempts to make clear what's actually going on. And the reporter that we're talking about here was actually suspended. So CNN reportedly suspended global affairs correspondent Elise Labott after she reacted Thursday on Twitter to a House vote on legislation that would make it harder for Syrian refugees to enter the U.S. So, okay, very quickly, imagine what a tweet would have to look like for a reporter to be immediately suspended as a result of it. Now compare that mental image to this. House passes bill that could limit Syrian refugees. Statue of Liberty bows head in anguish.
How dare she?
How dare she?
So the reason why she got suspended is because CNN says that the reporters are not allowed to editorialize. If you watch CNN, you'll see something that I rail against quite a bit, right? In their effort to be objective, they oftentimes end up being neutral, meaning that they'll report both sides, but then they don't report which side is telling you the truth.
Yes.
Okay? So they're very, very strict about editorializing, and that's exactly why this reporter is being suspended for 2 weeks. Think about that, okay? What she did is much less harmful. In fact, I would argue not harmful at all to journalism compared to what CNN does on a daily basis and what they consider their mission to be neutral. Being neutral is much more harmful in terms of educating and informing the general public than having one reporter put out a tweet that honestly tells viewers the truth, okay? So when you refuse to call out a liar who comes on your program, you're actually doing a disservice to America, okay? You're not helping, you don't have any journalistic integrity. Journalistic integrity means going out there, seeking the truth, telling your audience the truth, and not giving politicians and corporations a platform to spew their lies on. And that's exactly what CNN does.
I wonder why people turn to YouTube to get their news and information and not to CNN anymore and tools that they've hired over there. It's nice that they had an actual reporter, have an actual moment. You know what? She actually told the truth, that's the biggest gaffe you can make right now. It's in news if you tell the truth. Used to be just Washington. Now in the news, if you accidentally tell the truth, you got to get out of here.
Because
Phil Donahue, you said the war is wrong. You got to get out of here. Soledad O'Brien, you challenge people for calling Barack Obama anti-American. You're out of here. Anytime you stand up, you're going to get fired. Which I can't wait for Rachel Maddow to get fired. I wonder what it is that she's going to say. She's had that show now for a long, long time, and she's managed to keep it. She worked for a defense contractor. They were firing Phil Donahue. She kept her job. Now she's working for Comcast. They fired Ed because he was against the TPP. She's still got her job. I just can't wait for Rachel Maddow to say something so provocative that actually cost her company a nickel so that they'll fire her.
She's been criticized. I just read it, I believe, this morning. She's being criticized because in her coverage of Donald Trump, she's still going like half measures on calling him a racist. In his comments. Like, I don't know what else he could possibly say, but she's still being very, very careful because she knows that she works in this sort of environment. And by the way, so Elise Labott obviously would like to continue working at CNN since thanks to the corporatization of the media, there's like 3 places you can get a job as a mainstream reporter. So unfortunately, she sent out this tweet. Everyone, it was wrong of me to editorialize. My tweet was inappropriate and disrespectful. I sincerely apologize. Your tweet was not disrespectful. That is a lie.
What's disrespectful is what the Congress did to the Constitution and the idea of America. And that's what's disrespectful. Not that you accurately talked about it because you're a reporter.
You had an honest moment. And I'm not criticizing her. I mean, she did the right thing in her first tweet. Her arm is obviously being bent because she could potentially permanently lose her job because of what CNN is like. So I don't want to criticize her too much. But the idea that we talk every once in a while about what the mainstream news channels will have to do to survive in this changing media market. If they can't change enough to allow you to, in a light poetic way, imply that a bill is bad, they're not willing to change at all. What do they think we mean when we say that things are changing and that younger people don't want the news like it used to be?
No, but this is the incredible thing. Not only are they missing the mark in terms of, helping their own ratings and giving audiences what they really want, they think that they are above all other media
Yeah, that's
outlets,
true.
right?
Yeah.
Because they think that they're objective, but they're not objective. Here's the reality, okay? Every single person who's on the news, every single media outlet out there has a bias. Biases exist, okay? So here's the question. Do you want the news outlet to pretend like they don't have a bias and then report the news to you in a neutral way where they're not giving you the facts and the information? Or would you have the reporters and the personalities on the shows come out and say, here are my biases, but here's the reality of the story. This is the story, and here's what I think about it. There's a reason why opinion journalism is doing well, because it's transparent, okay? You know what our biases are. You know where we lean, what we think about political issues, and I think that that's more valuable than having a bunch of actors on a television channel pretending like they don't have any biases, just regurgitating something that a writer wrote for them on a teleprompter. That's what you get when you watch CNN. They don't do truth telling, okay? It's BS. You need reality. You need to know what the truth is. Both sides are not 50-50. There's usually one side that's lying. Sometimes both sides are lying. You should know what the truth is.
So,
exactly.
You make the point about the difference. They've replaced neutrality, objectivity with neutrality. So you can be objective and look at what the Congress did in passing that bill against the refugees and say, wow, this is not in keeping with America. You can objectively say that. That's objectively, you can say that this goes against the tenets, the spirit of America, of the United States, the way it's always been, of our Constitution, of the Statue of Liberty. You can objectively say that. That's not that it might be her opinion, but you can that's still an objective opinion to say that doing so. So that's like that whole big thing about when they still debate climate change on mainstream corporate news, right? They go, well, it's not, I don't want to give my opinion. You can be objective and still say science is a real thing. That's not you being biased. That's you having an opinion because you're being objective. Objectively, I look at it, objectively, science is a thing.
Yeah, I actually love that you brought up the climate change debate, because that is the perfect example of how the media has failed you guys. When they pretend as though climate science deniers are on the same level as the scientists who have, for the most part, all agreed that climate change is real and it's man-made.
Yes.
I mean, when CNN pretends like they're on equal footing, it's just, it enrages me, because it unfortunately misinforms people and makes them think, oh, well, it's just a debate. We don't know yet. Yeah, we know. We know. Okay, the climate change deniers are bought off by corporations that stand to profit tremendously from oil and coal. That's what CNN should be telling you, but they don't tell you that.